so easy. I need something that's a shallow 7/16. Oh! Jeez. What's up, dudes? Weather's starting to get a little less wintry around here, and I basically finished the little 12-foot boat, other than a few minor things I'd like to tweak on it. But with the weather getting nicer, I need to focus a little bit of attention on digging out my other boat, my 1756 G3. If you saw my little short video I did earlier this year, I finally pulled the trigger and bought one of them carports. After leaving my boat, that it was a big investment for me, out in the rain every year, I finally got me a carport to have it covered, and also the ski boat that I redid. I didn't want it getting all funky and stuff, so spent some money, got a carport, put it up, and it lasted all of 2 months. The stupid winter storm that came in whenever it was, January, it got so heavy, like 10 inches total of ice and snow, and it just collapsed it on both of my boats. I know the ski boat is pretty bad shape. I'm not sure if I can fix it or not. The G3, I hope, is going to be fine. But like I said, first we gotta attempt to dig these things out, so let's get to it. Alright, what I'm going to attempt to do is get my G3 out. What I plan on trying to do, this trip, is move these little pole jacks. I mean, they were sitting on the beams or whatever, but after that snow melted, it's risen up some. But what I plan on doing is moving them right around in this area, probably towards the middle, trying to jack it up enough to get clearance for the center console. As you can see, that center console was tucked behind that beam right now. The power pole hopefully will, Rebel, we're on camera. That power pole hopefully has power enough. I'm not sure if it's broke or not. It's got a little slop to it. I'm hoping that I can power it up and lay it back enough to get this boat out of this thing, because the power pole is actually sticking through the daggum carport, as you can see. But that's what I plan on doing. I gotta move my deer supplements over. Should have had them out by now, but well, I'm lazy. But that's what I'm gonna try to do. Set up a tripod and y'all can make fun of me when everything goes to crap. Well, all right, power pole on the G3 is fine. The only thing that really tore up was that net. So we dodged a bullet there. I've actually taken the G3 out several times so far. This is about, I don't know, 2 months later. Today is April 7th, I think. I'm not really sure how we're gonna go about getting this boat out. I wish we could just kind of get the thing lifted up enough to get the boat out and then deal with the daggum carport later on. I mean, that might be what I do. I really have no idea what to do about this, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Rebel's sitting here eating deer corn. Might be able to get it, Rebel. All right. We got it out of the carport. Let's see what kind of damage we're working with. This is going to be the painful part, unfortunately. I know we got some wasps. This done took residence up in this thing. There's one looking at me right now. Luckily, this is a cooler day. It was cooler this morning, at least. Let's see what we got. It don't look good from this side, that's for sure. Stink bug. It's a Tennessee state bird, in case you guys didn't know. Ooh, yeah, we got a whole horde of wasps right there. Come on, man. There it goes. Eviction notice. You too. Well, let's check out the damage, unfortunately. Looks like all of it was on this side. Windshield broke, as you guys can see, which sucks because this windshield was 100% complete, which is kind of rare for one of these old Runabout boats. But, I don't know if you guys watched the build of this video, this windshield is actually ugly as crap. It makes this boat look ugly. It looked better without the windshield. So, if it comes down to it, if we can fix it and delete the windshield, I won't cry about it. But what we do have to worry about is right in here. We start to crack right here. We got a long crack all the way down. Comes this way, goes that way, through there. Obviously on this windshield frame, which we talked about deleting, comes down. Of course, this entire side is broke. Actually, I do see a little bit of cracking on the inside near the dash. So that is our main damage. But what we also have to deal with, as you guys can see, fiberglass boats are made two-piece. You have a bottom hull and you have a top that sits on top of it, and they're bolted together. Well, that weight separated these right here. You see all the way down. The only way that I can see how to fix that, we also have a crack right here too. It's going to have to be repaired. We'll have to take this rub rail out and hope to goodness that we can get it back in. And everywhere, it looks like it was riveted in together. Drill those out and then maybe put some bolts in with a nut on the inside to try to draw this bottom piece back towards the outside. I mean, obviously I don't want to do any of that because I hate fiberglass work, but I put so much time and effort into this boat. And there's another wasp. Let's see if we, no, okay. That, you know, I hate to not even take it out one daggum time. The starboard side of this boat looks fine. I can see that damage over there. Now I'm not sure, I won't know until I can actually get in here and really assess everything, but I'm wondering, cut a piece of wood and wedge it up to get that top where it needs to be, and then maybe take a grinder and grind out all these cracks, and then lay some fiberglass mat and resin, try to build it up, sand it out. Could we fix this old boat again? I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't 100% happy with how this white turned out anyways, but I really don't want to repaint the whole white. I wonder if we could maybe just, you know, patch it a little bit, tape it off from here to here, and maybe try to blend it in. I don't know. But I really don't see any other significant damage to the boat. Looks like we scratched the paint on the top of the Yamaha, but it looks fine. All the rest of it looks fine. The interior looks fine, other than whatever that is. Got something growing on the seats. Looks like bird poop, maybe. Everything seems to be okay, other than this right here, the windshield. So maybe we can fix the Sears. Maybe we can actually take this boat out. I really hope so. It ain't getting fixed sitting here talking about it, I know that. Well, first thing first, let's make sure she'll still crank up. You guys that watched the video might have missed me getting the lower unit fixed. And that's the reason I never took this boat out. Had a bolt broken in the lower unit, and I couldn't get it out. I tried welding it, failed. I took it to work, had our machinist at work, Blake, worked on it, and he finally got it out. Once I got it all put back together, it was just late in the season, close to deer hunting time. So I was never able to take his boat out last year. Take the hood off. looks a whole lot better. That don't. Alright, give you guys an idea of what I've been up to. First thing I did was take a grinder, like with a thick grinding wheel, and kind of grind in these cracks a little bit to bevel them. So we'll have a little something, a little channel for this crap right here I'm mixing up to get in and bond. And then I cut me a 1x3 and wedged it up under here to try to push this stuff up. And then I started layering this stuff up to try to get it attached. This is kitty hair, or I think this is actually called short strand filler. It's got little strands of fiberglass in it. They sell long strand, which probably would have been better option right off the bat with this damage I got. But this is what I had on hand, so that's what we're using. I'm hoping this will be my last coat of this, then we can go to just like some filler, like Bondo, or that, probably use that Total Fair stuff that Total Boat makes. It's pretty decent. Just trying to get this stuff halfway filled up now. Get it leveled out close. That way we won't have so much spots of Bondo, because it'll tend to crack on you if it gets too thick. So that's why we're using this now. Anyhow, I did like 2 coats of this stuff, and on the underside with some fiberglass matte. I kind of wanted this stuff on top first to give us a little structure to keep everything together. And then that matte is going to give us a little structural integrity on the inside. So hopefully everything, you know, won't crack on us. Hop up on the inside real quick. This is that fiberglass matte. Kind of had it laid in here to keep any kind of drips from messing stuff up. But hopefully this is the last of this kitty hair, and then we can move on to something else. This is the last bit of this stuff I have. That's one reason I'm kind of hoping this is going to be it. Because as of right now, from what I can tell, this repair, I'm going to have to buy anything for it. I've got basically everything on hand, or I've already purchased it at least. Don't have to buy anything extra. So that's a plus, in my opinion. I'm also sanding this stuff with 80 grit on an air file right now. Whenever this stuff hardens the next time I get to work on the boat, I will use 80 grit. And then once we move to a different filler, Total Fair or whatever, we'll go with something 120, or I don't know, whatever I got. And then work our way down from there. We're gonna have to wet sand a lot of this. Still haven't exactly figured out how we're gonna smooth all this stuff out without having to paint this whole top half. That would also be really cool. I have a whole quart of this oyster white, which is enough to do the whole top, but I don't know. I'm going to try to blend it in the best I can. And there was originally on this paint job was a lot of spots that I wasn't overly happy with, so I might try to fix some of those without, you know, unless it's on the other side of the boat. We'll see what we can get away with. All right. Anyhow, that's what I'm doing. Shoot, that looks good enough. I'll just take it out like that. Just kidding. All right, updates. I've been sanding on this crap. Put another layer of Bondo on it, and we got it pretty close. I mean, if this was a boat that I was going to be trying to sell, I would probably be doing more work to it. But as you can see, I got a heavy coat of primer all through here, and then all this red stuff is spot putty, little holes and stuff like that, trying to fill it in. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to wet sand everything. Well, not everything. Kind of got a tape line out of where I'm going to try to blend this paint to keep from having to do the whole thing, man. Just all these things, the badges and stuff, I hate to have to take them off or tape around them, tape around the freaking steering wheel, and I mean, it'll just be a nightmare. Hindsight, I probably wish I had, but what I plan on doing now, as you can see, I got it split right there going up. All that is going to be taped off. I'm going to do everything back here. Tape all this off. And I got some bad spots right here, some bad runs that I want to take care of, so I'm going to shoot this little spot. But the rest of this is going to be taped off too. And then I'm going to try to blend it in right here. I know that looks ignorant, but I really don't know how else to do it to where it'll be clean. So hopefully we won't have a super hard tape line. I'll just try to remember to feather it right here maybe when I'm painting, so it's not built up so hard, like I said, and have a giant line. But we'll do the whole top or the whole front bow, and then that entire top side through here, and then there in this one little spot. Hopefully it works. So after all this little spot putty dries up, I'm gonna go ahead and wet sand everywhere that I intend on painting. Probably do 320 and then go back over it with 600 maybe. See how that looks. Fix any extra little spots for spot putty, sand them, and we might be ready to paint. So one more long day of work and be prepping for paint. Fingers crossed. All right, dudes. I've been busy on the boat, doing a bunch of boring stuff you probably don't want to see anyways. A lot of just sanding, fixing little spots, sanding, guide coat, wet sand. I got it down to 600 with wet sanding. Wish I had 800, but I don't. I know this paint job ain't gonna turn out exactly like I want it to. One reason I'm not doing the whole thing, if I keep this boat very long, I'm going to change the color combos anyways. So that's one reason I'm just kind of patching this in instead of painting all the white, which would be the smart thing to do. But I want to use this boat as is for a year, maybe two. If I don't sell it, I'm going to redo it. Not that I don't like it, it just, if it's something I'm going to keep, I'd rather have it colors that I would really want, even though this does match my red truck. Anyhow, I digress. We got it into my paint booth. Again, a lot of the problems I had, the original paint job of this was painting in my garage. I talked bad about it. I've actually been looking at those inflatable paint booths. They're not cheap, because I'm going to need one that's like, I think minimum 13 by 20, and I think the inside is smaller than that. That's the outside dimensions. And every one that I look at, even though they're really expensive ones, it's like 800 bucks. People complain about stuff that I feel like I might have a problem with too. So that's what's kind of kept me hesitant on doing that. But I really do need something if I'm going to continue painting boats. Like John boats is fine, you know, it's flat paint, who cares? But if I do some boats like this, I'm going to need something a lot better than some freaking plastic sheets in my garage. Yesterday I kind of went over this whole thing with the gray Scotch-Brite, any little shiny spots, which I still see some on the bow of the boat, but we're not going to get overly critical of this. There's some spots that I know it's going to jump out once we get shiny paint on this. I'm just going to have to not worry about it. This is going to be a boat to go have fun with. I'd like it to look decent. I can't stay overcritical about everything, because I will end up doing body work to this thing for a month, and you know, next thing you know, it's too late to take it out. So we're skipping some stuff here, but Scotch-Brite it, and then I blew it all off. I did try to fix a couple little spots. It was just driving me nuts. Even though they're probably still going to show up, they'll be a little bit better. I went ahead and taped everything up, taped the interior up. That was a nightmare trying to do that. This morning I wiped it down with a grease and wax remover, and before we paint it, I'm going to blow this thing off and then run a tack cloth on all the spots we're going to paint. Now, hopefully I can reach everything with this little step ladder that's on the inside, which is mainly just right here and across the back. I think it's going to be fine. I lowered the trailer all the way down, so I think we'll be able to get this pretty easily. I'm going to go ahead and mix the paint. The paint is obviously the paint I used before. It's Total Boat Wet Edge, and it's Oyster White. And I'm going to thin it down with Spring Thinner 101. This is Total Boat, they make this stuff too. It says thin it down 10 to 20%. I'm probably just going to eyeball it. 20% seems like a lot. I can't remember. I think this paint is kind of thick but runny, which is a terrible combination. So we'll see. Probably test it out. I got some cardboard out there because it's from my HVAC that I replaced. Test that on it, make sure it's going to be okay, and then we're going to start spraying. It's not that windy right now, but it's going to be windy later on today. I'm sure we're going to get bugs on this thing, and it's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to set up a fan in front of the boat and hopefully blow some stuff out, at least nothing else, blow some of the fumes out. We're going to try our best, that's what I'm trying to say, but it's not going to be perfect, but we're not setting the bar at perfect, so I don't know. Wish me luck. Hopefully it turns out better than last time. This, you know, wouldn't take much for improvement on that. All right, we got 3 coats on her. Seen one sag and we got some trash. And we'll invite all the bugs to come have a party while it's sitting here trying to dry. But I think I'm happier with how this turned out versus how it was the original time. Plus, this is our damage spot. Not perfect by any means, but I mean, with it being wet, you can't really tell. You know, you close your right eye. I think it turned out pretty decent. Maybe some of this trash will come out. I'm washing it. I know I had a couple bugs light in it already. See something right up there. But like I said, it's better than it was the first time I painted it. All right, hopefully it'll cure up without too many bugs lighting in it. You can take all this 20 pounds of plastic off of it. I didn't film it, but I took these seats out. Man, these seats, I never measured it. Actually, I got a tape in here. The box was basically 10 inches tall, and it had your knees all up in the steering wheel. So I flipped them upside down. Actually, I took them completely apart, and then I cut. It's got like a grid in it, and these grids are basically 2 inches tall. So, I mean, if you ever run into that problem, it's kind of self-explanatory. You just take the 4 plastic pieces apart, your sides and your front. I think I cut the bottom off of the sides, and then I had to cut the top off for the end caps. It had these little notches right here. It's almost like they built them. There was another notch right here, right above it. It's like they built them to where you could trim them down if you needed to. But I need to get these seats back where they need to go. I also got this little center console, which I thought it's almost more of a khaki than a freaking white. But I think I'm gonna put it maybe up here. That way you could throw a few things in it, cup holders, your wallet, keys, stuff like that. That way that stuff won't just be rattling around on the boat. I added this back here, which I ripped my freaking vinyl, which I haven't been happy with this, how wrinkled it was. It's like that stuff come folded and the wrinkles just never would come out. So I might end up redoing this vinyl, just pick up some more, but I ripped it drilling this hole. But I got a latch here to where we can open and close it, because this thing, even though it's laid back, it wanted to pop open all the time. I added a flagpole holder right across from the nav light or the anchor light, and as you saw, I put together a Bimini top, which is white. I couldn't find off-white. I couldn't find a red. I could find a red replacement top, but not a red that came with the frame and everything. So it was either black or white, and I decided with white. So now we've got, these seats don't exactly match. The Bimini top's a different color white, and the little center console's a different color white. So we got 3 different tones of white and 1, 2, 3 different tones of red. So cool. It matches by not matching. All right, we'll get these seats put in, and then I can figure out exactly where I want this Bimini top, and we can finish putting it in. A shallow 7/16. Oh! Ah! There's like no easy way to do this. I guess if you had help, it would be a little bit easier. I don't have no help. Might as well climb in and out of this boat another time. Hell, why not? Yep. Yeah. Jeez. All right, so one of the last things that needs attention on this boat is the windshield, or the lack thereof. When that carport collapsed, that's what it hit first, and it cracked it through the center. And that sucks because, well, the windshield was all in one piece. It didn't have any cracks at all in it. It did have like some fogginess to it. I was going to sometime this year try to buff it out, see how clean I could get it. The stainless that went around it was fine. But that windshield made this boat so ugly. So honestly, it didn't hurt my feelings too bad. The boat looks better without the windshield, but I just felt like to complete it, you put the windshield on it. Well, we don't have a windshield. So what I decided to do is make a windshield for the boat, which I've already done. But it was the biggest pain in the butt. I know there's companies out there that will, make you a windshield, but A, they're expensive as crap. B, I mean, it'll take like up to a month to get your windshield back. C, they won't deliver it to your house or pick it up from your house. You're going to have to like go down to the FedEx hub and drop it off, and they'll make a crate for it, drop it off, ship it off, and then when it comes back, you got to go pick it up there. So that's like 2 whole days for me wasted, not to mention probably a day of building a crate. So that was kind of not an option for this build. So what I decided to do first is order 2 sheets of acrylic. I got, I think, 12 by 36 tinted glass. And I got some little H channel to put in the middle. I also got some windshield channel to go at the bottom. Well, that didn't work. I got the aluminum to bend, because this windshield, it goes up at an angle. It's laid at an angle, and it's also got a curve to it too. The old windshield measured like 1.5 inches smaller in the very middle than it did the sides. So all that geometry was really making it tough doing that. I tried putting that windshield seal down at the bottom. I tried drilling it in. Once you got it on there, there was no way to get the glass in there. And that was it wasn't going to work. So I scrapped that idea. The windshield, I think, was like 51 inches, something like that. So I found another place that sold custom cuts of acrylic. So I got a 1/4 inch piece of acrylic, 12 inches tall and 51 inches wide. I taped together the old windshield the best I could, try to get all the curves that went to it like they're supposed to. I laid it on sawhorses and then laid my acrylic in the middle of it, and then used a heat gun to get it hot in the middle to slowly bend that acrylic to get that original angle. But once it laid flat, I was able to mark the other angles that needed to be cut in the bottom and the side. I decided not to go with the little side wings, just the front part of the windshield. So got it bent, cut it out, my wife helped me, and then I tried to do the same thing with that little windshield channel, and it just wasn't going to work. I mean, anything I did, you could not get that windshield back in that channel. It's just wanting to flop, fall down, come out at one end. So as a last ditch effort, after I done drilled 32,000 holes in the little top dash of my boat, was to just put it on the front of the boat. Drilled 6 holes all the way across it and was able to bolt it through on the inside, and it is actually sturdy as crap. My earlier first 2 attempts, I was worried about, you know, the inside of the windshield having any kind of support. But the way I have it mounted now, even though it kind of is cheating, and I don't know, it might be a very amateur attempt at putting a windshield on the boat, it's worked out, it's sturdy, and I don't think I'm gonna have any problems of the windshield coming off when I'm hauling this thing down the road. Does it look perfect? Absolutely not. Does it look better than the old wonky windshield? Yeah, it does look better. So I'm happy with it. I just wish I didn't put so much work and effort into the daggum thing. Anyhow, there it is. Like I said, it's not perfect. Maybe one day I can go with some aluminum across the top and maybe the sides to make it look a little bit more finished. I think it looks better. I wish it was a little bit shorter, honestly, but once you're sitting in it, your head's above the windshield anyways. I hate these seats. I wish they were even lower than what they are after I cut them. A lot of things on this boat are driving me crazy to the point I cannot wait to redo this boat if I do end up keeping it. Them seats are definitely coming out, even though they were like $210 a piece. But anyhow, I'll give you all a little quick look of it. For anybody that wants to know, I used bolts, but I used a rubber washer on each side. I put a rubber washer in here between the windshield and the boat itself, and then one on the outside. I had all this taped off, the windshield taped off. When I drilled my holes, my wife helped me hold everything in place so it wouldn't get way thrown off. And that's how we remedied that. I think it's, like I said, it's super stout. Like, definitely not going to go anywhere. Not perfect by any means. It does have some bubbles in it. I don't know if it'll show up on here or not, but you can kind of see right in this area. I guess because of the heat, it kind of messed it up a little bit. With it being tinted, it's not very noticeable. I still haven't cleaned it all off. A lot of this stuff over here is just dirt. But yeah, there it is. Said nowhere near perfect, but an improvement, I'll say that. And that's about it, other than doing a very thorough clean on this thing. I do believe I got one of my carburetor's float is sticking. I come out here after one day of cranking it up, and the next morning it smelled bad of gas, and it was just gas on the floor. So I think it's leaking gas, but maybe we can just tap on it and unseize it. If not, we'll clean the carb out. But we are basically ready to take this thing out, see what she does. Hopefully not sink. All right, dudes, we finally got the old Sears boat out on the water after owning it for a little over a year now. I bought it. You guys watched that video. It had a literal pine tree growing out of the floor. We had to do a whole bunch of work to it. Got it looking pretty good and pretty much ready to take it out. And then I had a little issue with a broken bolt in the lower unit, and getting that fixed kind of just, it slowed me down too much to where it was late in the season and I just didn't get a chance to take it out last year. So I parked it under my brand new carport, which lasted all of 2 months before it collapsed on my boat under a bunch of ice and snow we had earlier this year. So that leads us to a couple months ago when I finally dug it out. We got her all fixed up, put a new windshield on, repainted most of the top, and got her out on the water. Boat did fine. I was nervous as crap the whole time fooling with this boat. I actually took the trolling motor off of the Polar Craft and was ready to put it on the back of the transom if I had to get out of a bad spot if the motor failed on us. But the motor did pretty good. I think I could gain a little bit of performance out of it. I want to raise it up maybe an inch or an inch and a half because of that setback. Right now, the cavitation plate is basically even with the bottom of the hull. And with that setback, I think we should be about an inch higher, but it never porpoised or anything at all the other day. So I know we're at a good starting point right now. So we raise it up a little bit more and see how she does. I'm totally fine with the top speed. It hit 34 several times out on the water, but it was a bad day to be on the water. A nice weather Saturday on the Tennessee River in June. It was just full of boats and the water was choppy. I couldn't get a good pull from stop to top speed and be able to mess with the trim to slowly trim it up before we would hit wakes. So I think on a good day we could probably get 35, 36 as is. So maybe we can get a little bit more performance by pushing the whole motor up, and then from there I'll see how it does and might start looking into maybe getting another prop for it. Prop, it is fine. I think it's got a 15 pitch on it, but I was never confident enough to just gag it from stop to see how the whole shot is. So I'd like to see how that is before I start messing with props, because it might be a dog out of the hole and I don't want that. If it's a dog out of the hole, I'm going to go down a pitch because I'm okay with the top speed. Obviously I'd like to get more speed out of it because, you know, who wouldn't want more speed out of a little speedboat? But we plan on getting a little tube to pull some kids around. So a whole shot's kind of important when you're doing that. So I'm going to hold off on the prop thing until we figure that out. Only mishaps we had with the motor was it was not going into reverse. Hopefully that's just going to be a little adjustment of the linkage. It did fine here, but you know, get it to the lake and it's a total different story. You could hear it kind of trying to grab. I didn't want to tear the clutch up, so I just didn't really fool with it too much. We'll mess with it here and hopefully we can get it fixed. And then I believe the motor is, I want to say maybe the pickup tube or something is slightly clogged. When I took the lower unit off last year to change the impeller and all that, it had a lot of gummy, just funky stuff in it. And I didn't really think about it, which I cleaned all that up. But I'm wondering if that's up in the pickup tube. You put muffs on it here and you run it at just idle, it's hot as crap coming out. If you give it like half throttle, you can feel the water and it gets cool. So it pumps better when the impeller is running faster. So that makes me think maybe there is some kind of blockage somewhere. So I'm going to take the lower unit back off, blow air through everything, and maybe let what I can soak in like some degreaser or something. Hopefully we can get everything all cleared out if that's what the issue is. If that's not what the issue is, I don't know. I'll have to dig deeper. But other than that, boat did good, even though I was nervous as crap the whole time. We had a really fun time out on the lake, other than all the other people out there peopling. But I plan on keeping the boat. Unless something really crazy happens and someone just throws me some money, plan on keeping it. I have too much money in the boat to turn any kind of profit on it, I imagine. I've worked so hard on it. I feel a little bit of a connection to it, so I'd like to at least keep it for a little bit longer. And as I stated before, this thing is getting repainted top and bottom probably this winter. Try to have it ready for, you know, late spring of next year when the weather starts getting nice again. So you guys will see the Sears boat once again, and I will be using different paint this time. I think I'm done with total boat paint. I just have not been happy whatsoever with this boat, and I don't know why. I've used their paints before in the past and it was fine, but for whatever reason, I don't know, this boat does not like total boat paint. Like, I could probably go over there right now with my fingernail and just chip it away, and I don't know. I don't know why. It's like it hasn't hardened like it has before in the past. One. Not trying to dirty their name or anything. Like I said, I've used them before in the past and it was fine, but this paint just, I don't know, it's not working for me, and I don't want to go through it again. So I already know what colors I'm going to paint it and what paint that I'm going to go with. So all right, that's going to be it for this video. Fixing to pull up another boat here in a second and get to working on it. As always, I really appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you on the next one.